It is the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast, bringing you this week's Rocket Mortgage Classic. And as always, the show is brought to you by ProphetX. Use code FGDegenerates to get 1.5% back on all your plays for the first 30 days, up to 200 bone hairs. My brother, Kenny Kim, sitting in the couch. King of the couch. Kenny, what's cooking?
What's up, man? Pretty heartbreaking tournament for all the Fleetwood fans. I mean, even golf fans out there. I don't know anyone who doesn't like Fleetwood. So that was pretty fucking brutal. But before we go on, let's go ahead and talk about our YouTube stuff. Byron, go ahead.
Absolutely. As always, we expect and demand you guys to drop who you think is going to win in the YouTube comments so that you can win a free month to my Model Maniac Patreon. This week's winner for the Travelers was Lamar Cosmalvo. Mike's got it up on the screen over there. Congrats to you. Hit me up on X. Hit the link in the description below. We'll get you in the Model Maniac Patreon over there and hooked up with all the tools, cheat sheets, models, showdown stuff, everything you could wish for in the Model Maniac Patreon. Let us know who's going to win this week. The first person to put that in the comments is the winner. If it is the person that you choose correctly, we don't take duplicates because this week we had a winner. So it's only one entry per person, and that's how that goes. Congrats to Lamar Cosmalvo. Not congratulations to Tommy Fleetwood. Kenny.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking brutal, man. I mean, I didn't have anything on Tommy. I bet him a couple weeks ago, so I was a little bit early on him. But to lose in that,
Can't even say you were early because
yeah, exactly. He didn't win.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly. Like to lose in that type of fashion, 3-stroke lead going into the day. He doesn't have a bogey in his first. He has one bogey in his first 54 holes, and then gets, I think, 3 in his first 4, or something like that. He has a birdie thrown in there to start the day, and I tweeted out, right on that first putt, he had a 5-foot par putt, on one, and I was like, this is gonna be the direction of his day. I mean, if he makes this, he gets the confidence, he gets going, holds on to the lead, does his things, plays, safe, gets another 1 or 2 strokes, under par, and he should be golden. Especially the way the course was playing. I've never really seen that course play that difficult.
Got some teeth, man.
Yeah, I think Friday or Saturday, the average score was 1 over par at, TPC River Heights. Not your normal thing. I mean, I don't know what exactly they did, but the fairways were firm. The greens had a lot of bounce on them.
Rough was very thick.
Yeah, the rough was really thick, and there was some wind. It definitely played a little bit tougher than I thought it was going to play. And so, of course,
everyone just came from Oakmont.
Yeah,
I think that's got a big deal to do with it. I mean, there was so many people WD, Kenny.
Well, there was a summit virus that was in Oakmont that passed through children and then passed through the players, and then some of the players and the caddies got it that were at the Travelers this past week. Michael Kim, he talked about it. He talked about this bug that was going around. He said he had it himself. So I think that's a lot of that had to do with it. I mean, and then of course you had Spieth, who had the neck issues after round 1. Hovland, who withdrew with neck issues in the final round. Of course, I had 100% for Hovland in cash and in GPPs. I had Spieth in the $100. So it really, shitty fucking DFS week for me. Or shitty. Actually, it was a shitty fucking week total in general. I got skunked betting. I actually put a live bet on Sunday for a Scotty top 5, including ties at like plus 105. And I thought I was golden. And then Harris English made that 30-foot bomb on 17. And those Harris English and shot like 6 under that day. And I think Scotty did too. Scotty shot like 65. And he was in 5th going in. And he shot 65 and lost a stroke. So that was sort of irritating. So a really shitty week. But going back to Tommy, I don't know, like it was only his second 54-hole league, ever.
Yes.
On the PGA Tour. And so, which was a little bit surprising for me. And I mean, do you think he can come back? I mean, like, he was a man. He was a straight up man afterwards. He got on the mic, he talked to the media, but you could see like the pain like in his eyes, like during that interview. I mean, it must have been so difficult for him to do, Rory Morikawa, but he still did it. So kudos to him, and he's such a likable guy. Yeah, man, that really, really hurt the way that it happened. I know that Kip Henley, who's a former PGA Tour caddy, was online. He showed some video. It looked like it hit an old ball one. I still think he would have missed with the
It would have
line
lipped out,
that he
maybe.
had,
It would have
but
rim
at
jogged.
least it would have like hit the cup, right? Is what it looked like.
Yeah.
It looked like it would have hit the cup and not missed by 3 balls, right? On a 5-foot putt, right? I mean, that's just ridiculous for a pro. For me, yeah, sure, that's gonna happen. But for a guy like that, and it happened to him twice, because if you look at the way Sunday went, he lost the lead in the first 4 holes, and then by the time the back 9 came with about 6 holes left, he got the lead back again. I think a 3-stroke lead again, if I'm not mistaken, or close to a 2 or 3-stroke lead again, with about 6 holes left. And then he went 2 over and Keegan went 2 under. That was it, and that was it. And Keegan, of course, really, really stone shot on 18. Really impressive stuff for him to come and do what he does. And you got to think, in his press conferences, he says that being a Ryder Cup captain is actually helping him with the golf game, because instead of, after his round, sitting at home thinking about that missed shot on 8, you know what I'm saying, that he had earlier in the day, he's thinking of the Ryder Cup. So he says from a mental aspect that he thinks that actually being a Ryder Cup captain is helping his game, because he's not as distracted. He's not thinking as much about his game. He's not being depressed over missed shots and certain stuff like that. Which I can believe. And he's been playing which he's been playing pretty damn good golf. I mean, really impressive by him. I thought Rory had a nice bounce back week. I talked a lot of shit about him, but he came out, performed well, talked to the media, did his thing. The biggest problem I have with Rory is him actually verbalizing and saying what he thought, right? About him not wanting to play the weekend at the US Open, having zero motivation, not really wanting to be out there at all. And like I said last week, that's just, as a face of golf, that's just something that you cannot say. That was my problem with him. I didn't think it was going to be a long-lasting type deal, right? With Portrush coming up and stuff like that. That's not what I meant by that conversation. What I was saying is you just can't say those words and as the face of a sport that already has a bad reputation of privileged rich white dudes, right? Like his thing of like, I'm good. Like that does not bear well to that stereotype. It sort of makes that stereotype pretty fucking realistic, is what it does. And that's the problem I had with Rory. I did not think, and I played Rory last week. I said last week, if he was going to be the lowest owned fucking guy in the 10 guy, you got to play him. And it almost worked out really fucking well. But he was 6% owned in the $100 single entry.
That's leverage, baby. That's like the things you dream of, because he's absolutely got the ability to pay off that 6%. He's got to time it up, man. Didn't quite work. But JT, Kenny,
showed some life again.
Justin Thomas showed some life, but like we said,
and then you had the each way on Henley, right?
I had the each way on Henley. I had the each way on the first round leader for Keegan.
Nice.
Just couldn't get across the line, man. Just it was so tough. Close in both areas.
Now, honestly, I had Henley in 1 and done in the Mayo Cup, and I moved up to, because of that birdie on 18, I actually moved up to like 112th. So I that's $1,400. 112th place pays out $1,400. It's not bad.
That's a nice contest. Yeah.
So we're getting into the last like 8 weeks, and the thing that pissed me off about Henley, and kudos to Henley for being an honorable man. On Friday he called a penalty on himself. When he was lined up for the ball, he said he saw the ball move 1 dimple to the right while he was going into his backswing. And nobody saw it. The rules official didn't see it. His playing partner didn't see it. The TV cameras didn't see it. Nobody saw it. But he called the penalty on himself and took the 1-stroke penalty. And of course, he lost by 1 stroke. So kudos to him. But I don't know, man. Just looking back on it, motherfucking lie. I could have used that fucking $2 million in the Mayo Cup. You know what I'm saying? I could have used that. Byron could have used the outright, right? Byron could have used the outright, Russell. I mean, we appreciate your honesty. We appreciate you being a gentleman of the game. But like, the ball moved 1 dimple, bro. I mean, just let that shit slide so we can get ours. Come on, man. Come on. No. But
and he missed a 3-footer on Sunday as well.
Oh, he missed. I think 2 putts inside 5 feet in the last 6 holes. So yeah, that one hurt. And of course, just to rub the salt in the wound, he chips in from off the green to birdie that last hole. But kudos to Keegan. Pretty incredible stuff for what he's done. One of only 4 golfers who have won in each of the last 3 years. Can you name the other 3, Byron? The first 2 are easy.
Scotty, Rory, and the other one, would it be Sepp?
Nick Taylor. So the 4 guys that have won in the last 3 years, at least once in each of the last 3 years, is Rory, Keegan, Scotty, and Nick Taylor. So kudos to Keegan to do his thing. But let's go ahead and segue this into the Ryder Cup. What do you think? So right now, Keegan is 9th in the Ryder Cup points list. He's ranked as the 5th best American player on Data Golf right now. Of course, he is the captain. What do you think he should do? Because the playing captain option is live.
He needs to. My only issue I have with the situation is you need to pick to do one or the other. You don't half-ass everything.
Why? Let me ask you why. Why?
You don't half-ass everything. You full-ass something. Like you go.
But how do you know? Like, no one's been playing captain since 1963. The last time there was a Ryder Cup playing captain was 1963. We don't have any data to show, like, will this be good? Will this be bad? You know what I'm saying?
Common sense, Kenny, dictates this. Like the upside for him being a playing captain, how does it help him play better? Like, it's likely just going to have him play the same, maybe a bit better, maybe worse, not so crazy. But the downside of this scenario is much bigger than the upside it presents. I think he just needs to relinquish the responsibility of the captain, let someone else run the show, and just ball out as a player. Because
I thought that for a second, but I've changed my mind. Because, like, imagine your captain going out there, the first tee off, goes out there, just whoops that ass. Like, imagine, like, the motivation, the strength, what your team, the leadership you can show, like going out there and whooping that ass in that first tee. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that could be such a huge momentum boost. And here's the thing, like, he's the captain right now. He is doing a lot of fucking work. And the thing is, the majority of the work that needs to be done as a captain is going to be done prior to the tournament, prior to the event starting. Right? Once the event starts, you sort of have everything lined up. Now, you have different avenues and different ways to go, but you sort of have your idea of what's going to happen and what you want to see with your groups, with your pairings, and stuff like that before the tournament even starts. Right? And so, like, you know, he is doing all that work right now, scouting, trying to get teams together, talking to potential team members and stuff like that while he's winning tournaments. Right? While he's out there playing amazing golf. Why stop that? Because once the tournament starts, like, once you're playing, there's really nothing the captain can do. Once, like, in that round. Yes, in between the group sessions, yes. But, like, once the first group session starts, that session, there's nothing the captain can do. Like, he's put his best people out there.
There is.
What? Motivation?
If he's playing, he can't watch. Like,
Yeah.
you got to have your eyeballs
But that's
on
why
the guys
you
that
have. But that's why you have people you trust, like a Snedeker, like a Sink.
Why don't
like
you
his
just
other
make
vice
those people
captain.
the captain then? That's the thing.
But
Like, why are you
why?
like playing a game of broken telephone? You know what I'm
Why?
saying? Like,
He was
the captain
offered the
needs to-
captainship. He was offered the captainship. He took it. It's his job. Like, why? Like, so you just because he's good and he can play good golf and he's going to be on a team, he's going to relinquish possibly his only shot ever, maybe his only shot ever to be one of the most honored positions in the game of golf, just because he's playing good golf. That's why you want to kick him out of there, where he might never, ever have the chance to do that again. No.
Kenny, do you think Keegan feels
No.
like he truly deserved that captain's role?
It doesn't matter. It's what he is.
It does. It does, because
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't matter why he's got the job. He was picked to do the job. He was picked to do this job. There is a very high percentage that he will never, ever get a chance to captain a team ever again. Ever. How many multiple time captains have there been? Like, not many. Not many. This could be his only chance to be the captain of this team. That is literally one of the most honored things that you can be presented as a professional golfer, of the captain of a Ryder Cup team. It is something that will live with you. It'll be a part of you for the rest of your life. Win or lose, it's going to be a part of you for the rest of your life. There is a very fractional, small amount of people who have ever gotten the honor to do that job. Very small, right? And it is one of the most honored positions in golf. Why the fuck would he give it away? Because he's playing good golf? Come on.
He is basically going to be the captain anyway. You know, like, even if he gives it up.
Mean?
First off, I want to ask you this.
Yeah, but he's not going to be the captain. The winning captain won't be him if he gives it up.
Okay, sure.
Why would you give something like that up, which is one of the most prestigious things you could possibly have in the game of golf? Why would you even think about giving that up?
Well, the first point is, we're speaking about it, and it's a distraction. The fact that we're having this conversation is a distraction. It's a contentious topic that everyone thinks one way or the other.
But is it a distraction to who?
To the team. Like, at a presser, it's going to be about Keegan.
Do you really think the team doesn't want him playing? Of course they do.
Yes, they want him playing as a player.
As a player, you're right. And then from Keegan's point of view, how can you possibly give up a captainship? How can you possibly give that up? One of the most prestigious things you could possibly be.
Yes,
and
at the same time,
and then you're going to give it up because you're playing too well.
No, because you need to. A good leader knows when to lead and knows when to follow. Like, good leaders don't just lead all the time, and you have to follow sometimes. And I think for the greater good of the team, he needs to relinquish that role, because it's going to bring too much distraction. He needs to be either in as a player or in as the captain. I don't think the upside is nearly as close to what the downside of that situation is. And then, Kenny, I'll ask you, what will it take? You'd have to win as the US Ryder Cup captain in order to open his bag that's got cockroaches and all sorts of shit lying in it from like five Ryder Cups ago that he wants to unpack. Does he have to win as the captain to unpack it, or does he just have to, like, he wants to unpack that fucking bag, man? You know, the suitcase situation.
He's going to be on the team, so it's going to happen. It's just a matter of, like you said, if he's going to be the captain or not. Now, like I said, I don't think he should give it up. I don't think he should relinquish it, because there's no past way to look at this. We're just taking a guess. We think that it's going to be a distraction. We think that it's going to be a problem. It's never happened before. It's been
exactly
60. Why? It's been 62
Why has
years.
it never happened before? because it's logical to keep people in their lane,
because all the
keep the
captains
people
are
making
older
decisions
people who haven't been as good. These are guys who have been past their prime. Okay, this is the first captaincy we've had where the guy's not past his prime. He's still in the middle of his prime. That's why. We don't know what's going to happen. Like, in my opinion, I think if he goes out there and whoops that ass as the captain, I think that's bigger than anything motivating, team leadership-wise, anything that can be for him being just doing captain's work, going over and patting people on the back during the session, be like, good job. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he's going to be doing as a captain during the sessions. Okay? He's still got to put a lot of work in before. That's where all the big leg work is for a Ryder Cup captain, right? Once that first ball is hit in that first session, it gets a lot easier, right? You have your boys, your vice captains, they're all seeing all the different groups. They tell you, okay, this guy looked good, this guy looked good. He's not going to play all 5, so he'll be able to see, a couple of sessions himself and to pick and choose, but he's already got a template of what he thinks should happen with his pairings, with all that stuff going into it. He just needs to go out there and play now. That's it. And if he goes out there and plays well, and he is by far the most emotional, he will be
polarizing. Yeah.
Polarizing. I don't understand what do you mean?
Polarizing. Like it's what you captivated by. Like the crowd is going to literally swarm around Keegan.
I think you have the wrong word for polarizing, but I get what you're saying. Polarizing means you have different views from different looks. Like one person thinks he's bad, one person thinks he's good. That's what polarizing means. So I think I understand what you're saying, but I think you got the wrong word there. And that's understandable. I wasn't born in America either. I say some stupid ass shit all the time. But so you're saying he's going to be the center of attention, basically, right? But the thing is, with his emotion, with his his grit, his fire, he wants there. That can make the team go. I think. And again, it's okay. So I mean, that's what I think. I think he should play. I think he should be the captain, because giving something like that up, I just don't think is worth it.
So your reason for him to be the captain is a selfish one as an individual and not for the greater good of the team.
Yes.
Okay? And ask, how is he going to make these decisions when he has to include himself in the pairings? Don't you think that's going to he's got a conflict of interest, yeah? I don't know if that's the correct phrase, since this is,
but is it really a conflict of interest when he's the top 5 best American player in the world?
Yes, because how do you know how many times to put yourself in?
Because he's
I'm
not
sure
going
he wants to play himself 5 out of 5.
If you're a top 5 player in the world, more than likely you're going to play 4 or 5. He's not. He'll probably play 3, right? And so he's already going to be playing a little bit less
because he's the captain. So now we're sacrificing some of the best golfers because he's the captain. This is what I'm saying.
Look, but here's the thing. You play for the team, but to give up an honor like that just makes zero sense to me. You are given a job, and he is at this point in time, you can already tell he's doing that job to the best of his ability, right? Why give that up? Why give that up? We have nothing to fall back on. We've never seen this before. We're just guessing and thinking that it would be a distraction. We don't know. If there had been previous playing captains recently, and we've seen this before, where the playing captain goes out there, it's been a distraction. Now, granted, this could fail tremendously. You're 100% right. It could fail, but we have nothing to look back on. We're just taking a guess. Just because we think that it's going to be too much for him, that's why you think he shouldn't do it, right? Because you think that it's going to be too much for him to do, and he's not going to be able to do both well. How do you know? You don't, because we have nothing to fall back on. Now, if he fucks this up and we lose and he goes 0-3, then it's never happening again, right? Then we know, right? But at this point in time, we have nothing to compare this to. Like, why would you give something like that up? I guarantee you the guys want him on it. The PGA of America, when they gave him the call, they said, we're looking for a playing captain. Right?
And at the time, he wasn't even remotely close to being on the team.
He was top 20 in the Ryder Cup standings.
Top 20. Yes. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, well, top 20's in it. One win and you're
only
inside
12
top
people
12.
play.
Yeah.
If you're and he said 20, he wasn't going to pick himself.
One win goes in there. Look, I think he's going to win again here soon. And I don't think it's going to be null and void. He's going to get one of the automatic picks, I think. And I think that's the way it's going to go. And I think he's going to get an automatic pick. He's going to make the team, and he is going to go out there and he's going to be the captain. I think he should be the captain, and I think he should play. If it fails tremendously, so be it. So be it. Right? He was picked for a reason, to be the captain. You should not punish him for being too good at golf. Because it is a punishment. Because you're losing something that is one of the most prestigious things you could possibly have as a golfer. And I don't believe he should be punished for playing too well.
So the team should just be punished then?
We don't know.
What you're saying.
We don't know. You're taking a guess there, Byron. You're guessing that the team is going to be punished. There's nothing that you can look back on and see. There's nothing that you can look back on and take. So you're just taking 100%. You're just taking a guess, right? And so based on a guess that people have, he's going to get the boot from the captaincy. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't want that. He was picked for a reason, and he's playing exceptional golf. And I think that him being on that first tee, piping that drive at Bethpage with all that crowd around him, he is the new Mr. USA. People walk around on courses and salute his ass nowadays, right? There's no more Patrick Reed. Keegan Bradley is Captain fucking America, right? Keegan Bradley is Captain fucking America right now at this moment in time, right? Imagine him on that first tee on Friday morning against Rory and fucking Hovland, right? Him and Scheffler going out there, Keegan hitting that first drive, the crowd fucking going insane. USA chants going unbelievable. The whole team, everyone can feel that emotion off that first tee. Dude, that can take them to a win. Just that feeling, that pride, and then that feeling that we get, and nobody would come close to having that type of reaction outside of Keegan Bradley on this team. Look at this fucking team that we have. Let's take a peek at the team. Let's talk about the Ryder Cup here a little bit for the Americans. We got Scotty, Xander, JJ Spawn, Russell Henley, Bryson, JT. Those are the 6 automatic guys right now. Any of those guys scream Mr. America? Like, I would rather have Keegan out there on that first tee, because that's what we're going to need. We need that emotion. We need that fire, because the problem with the American Ryder Cup team for so long is that they come out flat. They are flat. They're not really, melding as a team. Keegan, as a captain, playing captain, would bring that team together to be as close as any other team that we've seen in a Ryder Cup for ages. And I think that's more important, because all the work that a captain, like I said, all the work the captain's going to do, 90% of it is before that first tee drops, that first ball is struck. So he'll be done with that. 90% of that is before that first tee. I want him out there. I want him on the first tee. I want him on the first tee shot on number 1 at Bethpage against Rory and Hovland, and just nuking a drive right fucking down to me. And then the crowd fucking erupts. That feeling lingers in that first tee box for all 3 other groups coming behind him. That's what I want to see. That is going to keep the fire in the Americans, in the crowd. And it's going to be, I'm not going to say, the Europeans will be scared. They won't be scared, but it's going to be a fucking hectic scene out there. And to make it even more hectic, fucking throw Keegan out there first fucking.
Yeah. All right, Kenny.
But let's talk.
Tell me who your team's going to be.
So right now we have those first six. We got Scotty, we got Xander, we got JJ, we got Russell, we got Bryson, we got JT. I think those six are in. I don't see. I mean, JJ's too far up with that win. I don't think he's going to go out. Those six guys are in. I think Morikawa is in. I think Ben Griffin is in. I think Keegan Bradley is in. So that's 9 guys that I think should be on the team. So the next group of guys that are going to be Harris English, Maverick, McNeely, Harman, Novak, Cantlay. I think you put Cantlay into with what he did in the last Ryder Cup. And you know what I'm saying? He was the star of that. So that's 10 right there with Cantlay. And
who have I got highlighted that you've already mentioned that I haven't clicked yet?
I don't know. So the 10 I have right now: Scotty, Xander, JJ, Russell, Bryson, JT, Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Keegan Bradley, and Patrick Cantlay. That's the 10 I got. So then we got 2 spots left. Those 2 spots are going to go up against Harris English, Maverick McNeely, Brian Harman, Novak, Burns, Hoagie, Cam Young, Finau, Patrick Reed, Brooks Koepka. I think the only way Patrick Reed makes the team is if he wins the Open Championship. He'll never, ever be a captain's pick as long as, JT's on the team. They're probably not. I mean, I don't think he can ever be a captain's pick. Now, Koepka, he's interesting. He's not playing well, but he showed some life at the U.S. Open. His ball striking was top 15 in the field at the U.S. Open. He has about 3 or 4 live events coming up before the Ryder Cup happens. He wants to make the team. I'm going to go ahead and put Brooks on the team. Brooks will be number 11 for me.
Brooks with his 4.5 team play points in 11 matches.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
who's playing worse than he's ever played before in these situations.
Would you rather have Brooks or Novak Reed or Harman?
Give me Patrick Reed.
Yeah, I would much rather. He just won't make the team. He just won't. There's no way he's ever going to make it as captain's pick after the shit he said the last time when he was about 3-4 Ryder Cups ago. He'll never ever be a captain's pick again. It doesn't matter. Like, I want him on a team. Like, I do. But he just realistically, he will never be a captain's pick ever on the Ryder Cup team ever again for the rest of his life. He needs to win a major in the year that he plays in a Ryder Cup to make a Ryder Cup, and he has a chance at the Open Championship. But I can't. But I'm not going to put him on the team because right now it's just a captain's choice, and he's never going to be a captain's pick. So I mean, So would you? So I mean, Koepka, but your other options are like Harris English, Brian Harman, right? Who are both short.
Ben Griffin.
We're both paying Beth Page. Ben Griffin already had on a team, bro. Ben Griffin already had on a team. Then we got Burns, who's Burns or Koepka. I'd rather have Koepka, right? Hoagie or Koepka. I'd rather have Koepka. Cameron Young or Koepka. Probably Koepka at that point in time, right? Berger or Koepka. Berger hasn't been playing well here recently. I'd rather have Koepka. Finau or Koepka. I mean, who do you put in front of Koepka?
I think you just take a second and you wait for someone to show themselves up here. Heading into the week, who's hot? There's going to be a couple names. You just play the hot hand. There's going to be people playing much better than Brooks is right now. And Brooks isn't even good in Ryder Cups. He's basically, in his 4 singles matches, he got 3.5 points. In 11 team matches, he got 4.5 points. He's not a team player, unless he's not a Justin Rose. If you're playing badly as Justin Rose, you're still going to be on the team because you're the gel, man. People rally around you. Brooks is such an arsehole. He's such a selfish arsehole.
I can't not can't like argue against that. You're probably right, but I just don't see anyone better right now.
Right now. Yeah, I think that's the key word.
I just don't
someone's
see,
going to show up.
I just don't see anyone from like, outside of Keegan. Keegan's the 9th guy. So I've picked the 9 guys that are in the top of the scoring, right? And then Cantling. That's 10, right? And so we have 2 more spaces. So from 10 to 20, in this ranking, Harris English, Maverick McNeely, Brian Harman, Novak, Burns, Hoagie, Cam Young, Berger, Finau, Glover. I mean, I would take Koepka over all of those, but you're correct. But there's 2 spots, right? There's 2 spots left. And so
I think
you
Sam
do
Burns
get that.
Has to be in.
If Sam keeps
ball,
playing the way he is, I think I could get on board with that.
You do not put Sam in as a foursomes partner like Zach did with Scotty. You put him in, he's volatile. He makes so many birdies, but he hits so many bad shots as well. He's a 4-ball guy, not a foursomes dude.
I think at this moment, if we stop now, he'd probably be on the team for me.
Yeah.
Because of the way he's played the last 3 weeks. I think you're 100% right on that. I think that works.
And I'm cool with Harris English or Brian Harman. They shorter hitters, but especially English. He won Farmers, man. He plays well on these like long, tough tracks.
We'll see. But I mean, I think Burns is a good one for 11. I think right now it'd be Burns and Koepka for me. But I think you're right. I think if Koepka shits the bed the rest of the live season, and one of these guys out here does really well and gets hot towards the end of the season, I think I can agree with that. That we put that guy in front of Brooks. But at this moment in time, I think just based on the talent and no one really being that hot. I mean, like, who's hot here other than Burns and Cameron Young? Like, would you take Cameron Young over Brooks Koepka?
No. I would take, I don't know, Cameron Young as well. 4-ball, perfect situation. The guy nukes a couple holes, like makes some really bad mistakes, but makes a lot of birdies as well. I think, Harris English is playing good right now. PGA Championship around Quayle. He finished 2nd. Like how different is Bethpage to Quayle? It's kind of similar kind of a golf course, So I think we just got to wait for someone to show their head later on.
So my 12 would be those first 9 that I talked about. Cantlay, right now, Koepka and Burns. So who would you be?
Who's same people without Koepka. I'm going to have all 11 of your guys there, including Burns and Cantlay. Cantlay, to me, is Justin Rose. Like, he can be playing very poorly or above average. Shove him in there. The guy's phenomenal when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, he can't win a PGA event, but he will dominate who's in front of him.
It's weird because he showed so much emotion at the Ryder Cup, and he did so well, and you never see it anywhere else. Like, why can't he bring that to like a regular tour event? I think it would help him so much.
Yes, it would. I think that is like exactly, they've got all these sports psychologists that tell them you need to maintain an even cool for 72 holes. Don't let yourself get too high, too low. Ryder Cup, that goes out the window. Like, people need to realize, like, but Ian Poulter, same situation. Some people just live for this stuff. And when you're playing in the Masters, you're not playing for America, you're playing for Patrick Cantlay. When you're playing for your country, it's a totally different thing as well. Like the patriotism is there. But I think I'm cool with a hot hand number 12 guy. See what happens, and
that might be the play. Instead
of
Koepka, a hot hand, that might be the play.
We need to inject some new blood into this team anyway. Like, you can't just keep rolling out.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of new blood.
At this point, he's kind of
JJ
washed.
Spawn,
Ben Griffin, Russell Henley,
Keegan Bradley. I mean, that's new blood.
But Keegan's played 7 Ryder Cup matches in his life. That's
he's still
good to go.
He's only been in. I thought he only been in 1.
I've got 7 matches, so must be 2.
So are you sure it's not President's Cup and Ryder?
No.
Okay.
I will double check.
Only in 1. Maybe he was in 2. Maybe they were both early. Like when he won the major, at the PGA Championship in 2013, he was probably on that team. And maybe he was on the one after that, 2015 also, probably.
Yeah, he was on 2012 and 2014. By the way, in the Model Maniac Patreon, I have a Ryder Cup tool. So you can go, I've got all of the matches for these dudes. So he has Keegan 2014, 2012. Dominated with, he had Phil Mickelson as his partner all the time. And you can see who his partners were. You can see the results. You can see the scores. I think Phil is a very interesting conversation, Kenny, as well as like if Keegan relinquished the captaincy.
He's burned too many bridges. He should.
He has. But
he's burned too many bridges.
It's interesting. But yeah, you can use this tool for like all sorts of cool research and stuff. And Keegan's obviously played 7. You can see who he did with there. And the singles matches, he's lost both. But he's a great team player. That's where all of his points have come from, is in the team format. So that's where the most points can be made, is in the team formats, because they play it so much. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be I'm getting like really excited. By the way, we are going to be doing the Ryder Cup show from my house, because Kenny and Mike are coming to Central Iowa to play some golf before the Ryder Cup. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We also got to pick a tournament to do a live show. I think that would be also lots of fun. Maybe I don't think we want to do that one, but we should pick one soon. It would be fun to interact with the fans in the chat, as we're going live too.
That does sound like fun. Maybe for one of these shittier events towards the end of the season, maybe the 3M or something like that. We might be able to do something like that.
I thought you were going to say John Deere Classic, and I was going to say you are no longer welcome in my house.
Wow.
That's my major.
Okay. But so yeah.
I'll be at the John Deere, by the way, people.
We're going to be playing 90 holes of golf in 3 days. So it should be fun. I just found something in my swing this past week. I shot an 84. It's feeling good, guys. It's feeling good. Like at this point in time, like I've been playing such bad golf. I've been trying to tweak my swing for the last year, and it's been horrible. I've been shooting, in the mid 90s and high for the majority of the last year, trying different things with my swing. And I think I finally figured something out. Like the back 9 2 Sundays ago, I finished with 6 pars or 5 pars and the last 6 holes. I found something. I brought it to my game again. I played this past Sunday, yesterday, and it was on target again. And then I actually ended up chipping in for birdie on 18 to break 85. My goal was to break 85 yesterday, and I shot 84, and I got super hype. And it's funny, like you guys know I'm not. This is not new information. I have lived like a sort of crazy life. I've done a lot of different types of substances in my life, addictive substances in my life. And honestly, there is nothing more addictive than leaving a golf course knowing that your swing is better, knowing that you have found something in your swing. Like that feeling. Like I didn't smoke anything. I didn't smoke any weed. I didn't eat any edibles. I didn't drink anything on the course yesterday. And when I left that course, I was higher than if I smoked like 2 blunts to the face. Like first off, that chip and birdie on 18, but just knowing the fact that I found my swing, and it's something that I am able to repeat multiple rounds now. That feeling is incredible. Like it is an incredible, incredible high. Like all I thought about last week, the whole week, like anytime I had a spare moment, all I was thinking about was club face position, right? It literally is all that I thought about for the whole week. And then it actually came to fruition on Sunday. And now I can't stop thinking about playing golf again. And that high is unbelievable. And that's why it's such a beautiful game. I mean, I shot 84, right? I mean, you're a scratch, right? I mean, you beat 84 almost every time you play. And you'd probably be angry if you shot an 84 with me. Like, I'm fucking ecstatic right now. It's pretty incredible. So I'm really looking forward to that trip. I'm going to go get a new bag this week. I'm going to get a 3 hybrid this week. I've been hitting my hybrids really well. So I want to add, I have a 4 and a 5. I want to add a 3. And so I'll be nice and geared up for our little golfing trip.
Let's go. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. Can't wait to just nuke driver and see what the hell happens there. But 90 rounds of golf in 3 days, 90 holes. It's going to be a lot of fun too. I think going to have Mike, Kenny, myself, Maybe we can have like one celebrity spot for a couple of people to join in if you want to find us somewhere. We'll see. Maybe in the comments to win it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we
I'll
need
be
a
at the
fourth.
John Deere Classic. Yeah.
We do need a fourth. So, I mean, wow, if you're in the Iowa area, what is it? The week before the Ryder Cup, I'm flying in. We're going to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the week before the Ryder Cup. I mean, shit. Hit us up.
There's lots of people in Iowa.
As long as you're not like a serial killer, we'll be good to go.
Hey, us three can take on.
Or if you are, I mean, like, whatever.
just make sure we're recording it all. You know, then
if I'm going to shoot a really good round, just wait till after the round is over and I can post it so people know. And then you can do whatever you want after
that. That's awesome. All right, my final time, I'm going to tell you guys, I'll be at the John Deere Classic next week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be wearing obnoxiously bright and visible T-shirts or shirts. If you see me, reach out to me. I'll buy you a beer right on the spot. I'll buy us both beers. So I want to see you guys out of the John Deere. It's going to be a fun time out there. I'm looking for a three-peat at the John Deere, Kenny. Sepp and Davis Thompson. And I was there when he won, last year. So that'll be a lot of fun to be back there. But we are talking about the Rocket this week. We can chat about the JDC next week. Kenny, let's break down Detroit Golf Course.
All right, so the PGA Tour heads to Detroit, Michigan for the Rocket Classic from Detroit Golf Club. This is the 7th time this event has been played here, and there is definitely one thing we've learned. This course is a birdie fest. The first 2 years were an absolute scoring bonanza as Nate Lashley won by 6 strokes with a score of -25. The course was wet and soft and due to frequent rain leading into the event. And while the rough was about 3.5 inches, it really didn't stop golfers from breaking out the big stick off the tee. Driver is used almost 80% of the time on non-par threes at Detroit Golf Club. 5 years ago, Bryson and Wolf torched the course, and 11 players shot -15 or better. 4 years ago, the wind was up and the winner was still -18. That was Cam Davis, and more than half the people that made the cut finished double-digit under par. This was with 20-mile-per-hour gusts every day of the event. 3 years ago, Finau torched the course with the winning score of -26. 2 years ago, Ricky won at -24. Last year, Cam won again at -18, and there were 30-mile-per-hour gusts during the week. So usually in these type of events, a hot putter gets a job done. So this causes a lot of volatility. Basically, this event is wide open and long shots are definitely in play, especially when considering how short the course is. Bombing will help, but don't let the 7,300-yard length fool you. The par fours only average around 420 yards in length. And with 2 shortest par threes and 2 shortest par fives, short knockers with hot putters and a solid wedge game, definitely in play. Detroit Golf Club was designed by Donald Ross and has the usual trademarks of a Ross course with tree-lined fairways, numerous fairway bunkers in the tee shot landing zones, undulating fairways and greens, and a somewhat even blend of longish and shorter holes. The course is a 7,300-plus yard par 72, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s, 2 of the par 5s around 550-yard range, and should be reached in 2 by most golfers that hit the fairway off the tee. The par 5 17th, a little bit longer at 577 yards, but should still be reachable. Par 5 4th, well over 600 yards. Some might be able to reach it, but probably a 3-shot hole for most. 2 of the par 3s are on the shorter side, and 2 are well over 200 yards. 7 of the par 4s range from 395 to 455. 2 range from 465 to 480. And there's one that's close to, it's a little bit under 380 yards. With 4 par 5s, several longer par 4s, hardly any dog legs, I'd expect to see driver pulled out on many, many, many holes each round. The average distance off the tee here has been much higher than normal tour events. Off the tee, golfers will see many straight holes, not too many dog legs, with average fairway width and fairway bunkers in the landing zones. The fairways have a bit of undulation on them, so many approaches will come on, somewhat awkward stances. And golfers that miss the fairway are going to have to deal with 3.5-inch, maybe even longer rough and some trees. The rough hasn't led to tough scoring conditions, as we've seen the winning scores -25, -23, -18, -26, -24, and -18. If golfers miss wildly with a driver, they could catch a break. That's how I've been missing my drives. A little bit of new slice in my new swing. I've gotten rid of the pull hook. And And so in this case, if a golfer does do that, they could catch a break because if they missed a fairway by like 20, 25 yards, it could land in a fairway on the other hole, right? It's one of those things that like go back and forth. The holes go back and forth. Like I think Firestone, right? Similar type of layout where everything's just sort of back and forth. All the holes are straight. So if you careen one, like Wyndham Clark, at LACC, it's not going to hit the fairway like it did at LACC on the hole, but it might hit the fairway on the other hole. And, these guys can hit that ball so high they can get it over the trees and give themselves a shot at reaching these greens if they miss like crazily off the tee. Now, on approaches, golfers are going to see less than average sized greens with bunkers surrounding most of them. The greens slope heavily from back to front. It's another Donald Ross staple with a stick meter rating of around 12. The majority of all approaches will be from inside 150, 175. So strong wedge, short iron play is a must. The POA bent blended greens have heavy undulation, so it could be a tough putting meet for some, depending on how difficult they make the pin locations. If you're looking for correlating courses, Sedgefield Country Club and Eastlake, Wyndham and the Tour Championship are the other two Donald Ross courses played every year. You can also look at the Travelers as TPC River Highlands has the same bent POA greens as Detroit Golf Club. Also, Colonial has similar proximity ranges. So does Travelers. Has similar proximity ranges where you see the majority of your shots. Now, those are, less than driver courses, but they're short. And so they position themselves in the same distances as guys out here would do with their drivers off the tee, the same proximity ranges. What are you looking for in golfers this week?
I'm looking for a couple things, Kenny. In my model, I have 6 kind of boxes that I want to check. So first off, I want to check strokes gained off the tee on courses longer than 7,200 yards. How do you do on courses that you got a nuke drive on? So these are the top 10 guys over there. I'm looking for guys that dominate on easy courses. If you're looking for scoring to go low this week, easy courses are when the scoring average for each round is below -1 under par. So you can find these guys. They've been dominating in that department. Then I'm looking for guys that have dominated at Detroit for the Rocket Classic. I'm looking for guys that have finished inside the top 5 at this venue. Here are a couple guys that have done that. So I'm all about that. Then comp courses, like you mentioned, Colonial, Kenny, I don't actually have that in my comp course set of courses here, but I'm going to be going with TPC Craig Ranch, TPC Scottsdale, a lot of TPC venues, Vedanta Vallarta. From a driver perspective, not so much a long irons into green. Memorial Park in Houston for the Houston Open, I feel like is a solid option as well for this kind of a venue. And then I like TPC Toronto. The guys that played the Canadian Open, very driver heavy type of venue. I'm in on that. So looking for guys that dominate the comp courses there. Just weighted strokes gained approach, like you mentioned, all the proximities for this week. A lot of that happening from 100 to 175. And an emphasis on some 3-woods, from 250 and out. I think the par 5 scoring kind of brings that in too. So those are kind of the boxes I'm looking at. Pretty simple blueprint here, Kenny. You got to be able to go low. If you got elite distance off the tee, that's one thing. If you got elite iron play, someone just got to find the putter. It's basically trying to find someone.
I think you need guys who could spike putt. Even if they suck at putting, like when they do putt well, if it's spiked, I think that's something to look at. And I have a couple of guys this week that are going to be like that.
Beautiful. All right. So let's get into the kickback golf betting segment here for this week. I have a couple more things I do want to share with you guys, though. We've got some sweat
Make sure you go to kickbackgolf.com, use promo code FGD15 to get all that cool gear. Mike's showing it on the screen right now. They've been our sponsor for almost a year now. Let's try and give them a little bit of a boost. These guys put out a good product. These jerseys are awesome. It's something, if you're going to an event, it'll definitely catch people's eyes. People will come up to you and be like, oh, where'd you get that? Blah, blah, blah. It is pretty cool. So make sure you go check out kickbackgolf.com. But let's hear some of your sweat bets there, my friend.
All righty. Now I need to just find how I can share the screen again, yeah, since I've got a million different tabs. Give me 2 seconds, people. All righty. Oh, yeah, we go. Okay. So here's the placement tool I'm using. And we're going to be looking at Colin Morikawa, who's top of the odds board. Yeah, if we're just taking a look at what Colin Morikawa does the best, his top 5 rate is 11%, top 10 rate 17, but he finishes inside the top 20 basically 56% of the time. So more than half the time, you can find a Colin Morikawa top 20 at minus 135 out there. It's the one bet that actually has some value, even being negative odds, because Colin's the second best guy in my model. Number 1 for safety. I feel like that's a great bet to go in Colin Morikawa's world. He just doesn't seem to have the upside. Since he's spoken out about not owing us anything, he hasn't finished better than 10th. So I think a top 20 bet is very safe for Colin. He's been floating around that range quite a lot. Keegan Bradley, a great bet for Keegan this week, is also going to be top 20. He doesn't necessarily have as much upside. A lot of these top dudes are just consistently inside the top 20, and you can find a Keegan Bradley top 20 at minus 105. So I think there's some value over there. There's a neutral, value on the top 10 side of things there. Keegan top 20 minus 105 is that bet. Then Patrick Cantley. You can kind of go two ways. If you're sick and tired of the top 20s, yeah, he's plus 350 for a top 5 at this golf course, but he has been finishing inside the top 20 almost more than half the time as well. So 55% top 20 rates. If you're going minus 105 for a Patrick Cantley top 20, you're getting a 22% edge according to my tool here. So I'm going to be betting Patrick Cantley top 20 myself. That is one of the bets. It cashed last week again, remember? And he just floated between 10th and 20th the whole week. So I think that's somewhere you can go. Ben Griffin is next up on the odds board, and I love the top 10 bet over here. At plus 220 for a Ben Griffin, he finishes inside the top 10, 1 in every 3 starts. He's numero uno in my upside ranking. So that means top 10, top 5 percentages are included in that a lot more. The safety ranking is including top 20, top 40 rates in that department. So Ben Griffin checks a lot of boxes. In fact, no one finished inside the top 10 more than Ben Griffin in this field. So I love that play for Ben. And then the final guy is going to be Hideki Matsuyama. And I'm going to get cheeky. The sweat bet for Hideki, ProphetX has the placement market out there, and there's a top 10 out there that I will be looking to say Hideki no for a top 10, because no other books allow you to bet the outside of the top markets. ProphetX does. So I'm going to be looking for Hideki Matsuyama not to finish inside the top 10. He's actually only finished inside the top 10, 7% of his starts in the last 12 months. So I'm probably going to have to lay some juice, but I'm happy doing that. Got a lot of ProphetX cash in the account there, and you guys can come and take my money over there too. So use code FG Degenerates to get yourself 1.5% back on your plays for the first 30 days up to $200. So those are my bets for the sweat bets side of things, Kenny. Hit me with your outrights, and you're gonna have to play a couple placements that we got some placement market out there on ProphetX.
Yep. So what I did last week on ProphetX, I was gonna wait until the weekend and do the over-unders. But then I saw what happened on Friday, where the scoring average is like a stroke over par. And I was just flummoxed at that point in time, right? I was like, I really don't know how to go about this now. So I ended up not playing any ProphetX because I just didn't want to like throw money out there just to throw money out there. Like I want to put winning plays out there for ProphetX. So I did not play. But I will this week because we know how this course goes. I think it's going to be the best way to go about this for ProphetX this week would be the first round, because guys are going to go low, right? And usually, sometimes it takes a round for them to adjust that over-under number. So I would definitely be looking at it. Be on the lookout on my XSpeed Wednesday night for a ProphetX play. Make sure you use promo code FG Degenerates. Get yourself some money back on ProphetX. But here are going to be my bets for this week. My outright bets for this week. It's going to be Luke Clanton, 33-1 with 8 places. This is the first course that Clanton's going to play where he has seen before on tour. He's not going to go out there as a rookie and not know what this course is about. He played this course last year. It's the first course that he's going to double up on. He finished in the top 10 last year at this course. Makes a ton of birdies and has been good at scoring fests. Like his ranking goes from, I think from like 23rd in my model to 8th when it comes to when you hit that filter that says scoring on easy conditions. Yep. He's one
number
of the best
one for me in that.
Yeah.
In that
one
category.
of the best, it could be. I might have just skipped ahead of myself, but one of the best in the field from 100 to 150 the last couple of months. After a rough start in his first few events this season, he's gained with his irons in his last 4 events. He could definitely bang it out there long, and he has been known to have spike putting weeks. He's gained 4.9, 4.1, 2.2, and 2.4 strokes putting in 4 of his last events played. 4 of his last 8 events played. So the spike putting is there. POA has been his best putting surface. Now, whether that's West Coast POA or, this type of POA we see here, same. It's been his best surface. Now, with all the amateur and collegiate accolades, it's possible that he's the most talented golfer in the field. It's very possible with what we've seen him do in the amateur ranks and what we've seen him do in the collegiate ranks in 5 years. And we look back at this event, it could be possible we're saying that he is the most talented golfer in this field. So I'm going to go 33 to 1 with 8 places. Do you not agree with me on that?
Well, I mean, we got Colin and Cantley and those boys. I mean, they are.
That's what I'm saying. In 5 years.
We're speculating. We're speculating.
We're speculating. He could be. So next it's going to be Akshay Bhatia, 35 to 1 with 8 places, averaging 2.5 strokes gained with his approaches in the last 5 events. Makes a ton of birdies. I think he's top 5 in my model, a birdie or better percentage in the last 24 rounds. Came second here last year. Doesn't play very often in non-SIG events anymore. So I'm betting on talent here because his finishes recently just have been average. So I'm betting on the talent. I'm betting on the birdie making prowess here at 35 to 1 with 8 places. Next, it's going to be Ben On at 55 to 1 with 8 places. Looked really strong last week and has had back-to-back top 15s in non-major events leading in. Can give it a good poke off the tee. Iron game has looked much improved in his last 2 non-major events. Really good from 100 to 125, which a lot of his approaches are going to be because he's such a long hitter. I said he was going to win at some point this year. This could be the week. Next, it's going to be Emiliano Grillo at 66 to 1. Ball striking is back to elite levels. 27.2 strokes gained tee to green in his last 5 events. That's an average of 5.5 strokes gained tee to green in each of his last 5 events. Best wedge player in the field, right? Putting's still a bugaboo, but has had some spike weeks recently. 3.1 gained at the U.S. Open. 7.7 gained at Houston. 4.3 gained at Valspar. 4 top 25s in his last 5 events for Mr. Emiliano Grillo. Next, it's going to be your boy, Pot Guiden. 110 to 1, 8 places. Long off the tee. Dude has real game, though. He showed it at Colonial, which is the less than driver course. He finished 6th then, right? We lead before the Colonial, we were like, okay, driver heavy, we're scoring fast. You go ahead and put him in. But, he went through, he finished 6th place in the less than driver grinded out type course. That showed me a lot about his game. Colonial and here have similar approach shot distribution. Boom or bust option, of course. As he has finished top 6 in 2 of his last 8, but also has 5 miscuts in that same time period. Next, it's going to be Max McGreevy at 110 to 1 with 8 places. I will talk about him more later on in the DFS portion of the show. After that, it's going to be Adam Hadwin, 140 to 1 with 8 places. Good course form. He can pop out of nowhere. Best in the field from 100 to 125 the last couple of months. Really good bent and POA putter. 8 top 10 since the beginning of 2023. All of them have either been on courses with bent, POA, or a blend. So 8 top 10s since 2023. Every single one has come on bent or POA or a blend. So 140 to 1 for him. Next, it's going to be John Pock 900 to 1 on DraftKings, win only, and 200 to 1. That 900 to 1 was DraftKings. Just to let you know, everything else is Bet365.
Now 500
John
to
Paul,
1, by the way.
What?
It's gone down to 5. So
it's gone down to 5.
Still hammered at
500 to 1 is fine. Okay. 500 to 900 to 1 for Mr. John Paul. Win only, and 200 to 1 with 12 places for John Paul. So that's how I'm going with him. Again, won every amateur award. Haskins, Hogan, Nicholas as an AM. Was in the lead at Colonial at one point. Again, similar approach shot dispersion. Gained strokes with irons in 6 of his last 7. 23.1 strokes gained with his irons in those 6 events. Almost 4 strokes gained average with his irons. Seen spike putting leaks from him recently. Colonial gained 4.1. So we've seen spike putting from him. Off the tee and short game and weaknesses, but he might be able to work around that at this course if he can putt and if he can hit his irons like he's been doing. So a big card, but a lot of long shots and only 2 golfers under 55 to 1. Clinton, 35 to 1, 8 places. Boccia, 35 to 1, 8 places. Benar, 55 to 1, 8 places. Griot, 66 to 1, 8 places. McGreevy, 110 to 1, 8 places. Potgieter, 110 to 1, 8 places. Hadwin, 140 to 1, 8 places. John Paul, 900 to 1 win only, or 200 to 1 with 12 places.
Yeah, I'm in on the John Park situation there. I am also in on potentially Clanton. I am noticing, Kenny, on Friday, there's a lot of wind going on, gusty-wise. So I'm just going to hang tight until I see a couple tee times. I have a bunch of dudes I have my eye on. I have also bet 3 dudes already. So these are the guys that I have bet already. I will be probably dropping the other guys on my show tomorrow, 7 Eastern on the Mayo Media Network. Back 9 bets. Ben Griffin. Bet 365 boosted him up to 25 to 1. He's 22 to 1 everywhere.
If I caught that boost, I might have thought about that instead of Boccia.
Yeah. So I'm in on 25 to 1 for Griffin and not getting the places there. So I'm just going to go to the top 10 market like we spoke about in the sweat bets at plus 220 and just hammer that for 2 units to kind of just make sure that an upside finish still pays us off. Ben Griffin, number 1 in my model for upside. 10th in strokes gained on easy courses. Number 2 in strokes gained on courses that are 7,200 yards and beyond off the tee. So he's a great driver of the ball on long courses. His weighted approach metrics for Detroit is 9th in my model, and he's okay on bent grass putting and par 5 scoring. So he just grades out well, and this is like one of the first few courses outside of Memorial where he's just going to unleash the driver. He's been getting better and better with the driver, and I think he's going to really thrive at this venue. Then I'm going to be with Aldrich with you, Kenny. Can't not play him at a course like this. The less you're chipping, the better. Play great. He's going to be driving some greens at this golf course on par 4s, like no doubt. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him play. And the entry fee is hundreds, in the triple digits there. So totally cool with that.
If we see, wind at your back, 20, 30 mile per hour gusts at your
400-yard drives.
Yes. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Yes. He is so much fun to watch.
They have that one 380-yard par 4 that, people aren't going to drive, but he might try.
He could. And it's just a little firm fairways and some breeze. We are looking and the thing is, the risk off the tee is not even nearly as much as Mexico. It's just other fairway,
Yeah.
I love that for him. He's going to be sending the nukes, baby. So I'm in on him for all those reasons. And then Matt McCarty, 150 to 1 at Bet Rivers, 6 places each way. Number 7 in my model for upside. Think about when he won the Utah golf tournament, the Black D championship out there in the desert with the lava rocks and stuff.
He's a Black D,
winner. I'm a fan of Matt McCarty on the Black D. And I think he's going to do great. I'll take the results instead of the actual the viewing. If it pays out 150 to 1, I will.
The result is usually white and sticky and wet. That's usually the result.
And that's what's going to be happening in Detroit. It's going to be hot. The guys are going to be it's a whole bunch of white guys out on the field there getting sticky and wet. I think it's going to be a very normal situation. So the Black
Byron
Desert,
fan
the
of the
D,
Black D.
the correlations are just too good to pass up on there. T4 at the Canadian Open, solid stuff, and T15 at the CJ Cup a couple starts ago. So that's good to see. 15th in the field in scoring on easy conditions, top 30 in birdie percentages on easy scoring conditions as well. And he's 125, 150 to 1, depending where you can go there.
This
Some
is
other
McCarty,
names,
right? McCarty?
Matt McCarty. Yeah. He won 3 times on the KFT tour and got on to the PGA. Remember, he won 4 times in 1 year or something. And no one's ever won the KFT.
I like that.
And on the PGA. So he's good. And he just finished 4th at the Canadian. So love that about him. Some names I'm going to be monitoring. Luke Clanton, Max Griesemann, Jake Knapp. Like Davis Thompson's numbers kind of just like completely traded. I was in at 50, 45, but now it's 35 to 1. We'll see if that drifts back. But I'm in on him. Chris Gotterup, someone I'm in the mood to look at. So some of these guys are definitely going to be getting those Friday morning tee times that I'm predicting right now. We're 2 days away, 3 days from Friday still, 2 days away from the tournament starting. So just waiting for new weather information to come through. Alejandro Tosti, I'll just bet him anyway at 170 to 1. I feel like he's an Argentinian Aldrich. That's basically the same situation. Tosti's got some pop in the tank. So he's 170 to 1 out there. You can get him involved. I'm with you on John Park at 500 to 1, Kenny. And I'm just going to blindly bet Cam Davis. He is the most profitable bet at Detroit Golf Course for the Rocket in the last 6 years. 4 consecutive top 20s, regardless of how shit he's been playing when it comes to showing up at this venue.
I mean,
plus 280 for a top 20.
Bookended by 2 wins. So, yeah.
Exactly. So do I think he wins again? No, but he seems to just find his groove, and we're getting 3 to 1 odds for a guy that's finished in the top 20 4 times in a row. Obviously likes this venue. So I like that for a bet there. And then I'll be betting Patrick Cantley, top 20 at minus 105 as well. Once we get some nice tee times tomorrow, I'll have even more placement bets for you guys and finalize that outright betting card.
That Cantley bet,
there.
You should Cantley play. You should go over to ProphetX and do that because you can get plus money. I bet you can get plus money.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Last I saw, they were top 5 and top 10s. Hopefully the top 20s will be out there by the time the show's over. If not, I will have a word with the people. So yeah, that's what's going on my side of things. Kind of taking it tentatively, but I like the Ben Griffin. That's the majority of my bankroll laid out there at 25 to 1. So we'll see what he can do. Kenny, blood, sweat, and DFS tears, baby. Let's get hot and sweaty and sticky over here. We've got the $10,000 range. What are you doing at the top of the board, yeah?
Cantley's my first cascade cornerstone. Pretty simple. You went over Cantley a bunch. Again, he's had a runner-up finish here. Iron game's fine. Great off the tee. One of the best from 125 to 150 in this field. Really good from 75 to 100. Needs a little bit of work from 100 to 125, but I think he's going to balance it out pretty well there. So I do like Patrick Cantley as my first cash game cornerstone. I'm really intrigued about the 2 guys up top. Because here's the thing about, I don't know if I'm going to play either of them. I could play both of them when it comes to Keegan and Morikawa. Right now, so let's talk this through. Morikawa doesn't play non-signature events. He also doesn't play easy courses. This is going to be the easiest course he's played since the AT&T Pro-Am. And I think he finished 5th there, probably. First, I don't think he's played a non-signature event since last year. I don't think he's played a single non-siggy event this season. If I am not mistaken.
Zozo was the last time.
Yeah, so it's been over a year. Not this season. He has not played in a signature event, non-signature event this season. So he's going up against a lot less good of a field. Now, his iron game was shit last week. Still made the cut. What do you think his ownership's going to be?
It's a good point.
Has there been a top priced guy that has been under 20% this season? And are we going to see it for the first time with Collin Morikawa? Do you think people just click the top guy no matter what, and that'll make his ownership inflated? Because if he's like 16%,
Mike, can you share my screen?
I got to think about it. You know what I'm saying? just from a game theory point of view, I got to think about. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it right now. I'm not playing either Keegan or Colin. But again, if the ownership comes out and these guys aren't even in the top 15 highest owned for the whole field or something like that, or for Colin top 10, right? Does that
Kenny,
give you?
I love it. And I think you spot on. At the truest, he was 10-5, wasn't the most expensive dude, but was sub 20%. You know, ownership pulls to the higher price guys. That's just how, because they better. So that's where ownership will go to. So we've seen Colin Morikawa.
Do you think that he's going to get over 20 because he's the highest priced?
I don't think so, because I think everyone will be going to Cantley instead. I think they'll be going to Ben Griffin.
Yeah, I think so too.
Keegan's playing like he's easily the least enticing option at the top of the board there. I think Hideki will be lower owned than Colin, but he's also $1,300 cheaper. So that's not even a discussion to have there. I think you're right, Kenny. I think we could see a sub 20% Colin Morikawa, but at the same time, I'm not trying to be early on him either. I think we've seen what's happened.
But if we're going to be early, it seems like that this would be the spot. No Scotty, no Rory, no Xander, right? I mean, none of the elite guys are playing. He is the elite of the elite in this field. You know, elite of elite. I use that in quotes.
Yeah.
Here,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, like even when you put on, scoring a little to a par easy, he doesn't have much, but he's third in my model. When it comes to easy conditions, 6 in birdie or better gained in easy conditions. I have to think about Colin. I'm thinking about him. It could be a play if I'm going to be early. I think being early at an event like this, instead of say last week at the Travelers, where you're playing no cut and you got all these studs, this could be the week to play. So I'm definitely thinking about it, but I haven't made my decision yet on that. So you're just going with Cantlay? Any love for Keegan?
I like Cantlay. I'm just going to bet him top 20. Because the reason I'm betting him top 20 is because he's not finishing inside the top 10. He's $10,200. He's just floating around there. I'm totally cool skipping this entire 10K range and starting with Ben Griffin.
I don't see a problem with that either. I think that will be a way that a lot of people go. I think Cantlay is going to be the highest owned in this 10K range, just to let you know. And if Morikawa is 14%, I don't think it's going to be that low, but if you get it from Gump's Corner or whatever other site that you go on, Rotoball or anything that has ownership projections, and you see them as like 15% or lower, 16% lower, it might be worth it. It might be worth it.
Yeah.
Because again, you're looking at a guy who doesn't play these non-signature events. He doesn't play easy courses very often. The last 2 real easy courses that Morikawa has played was probably the Amex and Century. Not the Amex, the Pro-Am, AT&T Pro-Am and the Century. And he finished second at the Century. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's move on to this 9K range. My second cash game cornerstone is going to be Ben Griffin. I mean, everything you said about Mr. Griffin is 100% correct. I am definitely on board. But again, I do think Cantlay and Griffin are going to be the 2 highest owned. So if you're looking for pivots here, Harry Hall could be a play at 9,500. And I'm interested. I don't know if I can get on board with Hideki. Because again, I think his ownership is going to be super low, single digits again. And the thing about Hideki is you don't really want to play him. You want to play him when like no one is, right? And I feel like no one's going to play him this week. So if you have that mind frame, I'm not going to argue against you about playing Hideki. I thought about it hard, but I just don't think that I can do it just because of the way his game has been looking. But again, I think Sunday he played really well last week.
He was holding out for eagles from the fairway and stuff like that. But,
he was doing some wild shit out there on Sunday. I don't know if I can get him, but again, if you're looking for leverage from Cantlay and Griffin, I think Hideki's it. I don't know if I can do it. But if you're playing game theory, right? And this is something Tambo used to say all the time, that, you always play Hideki when no one is playing him, and no one's going to play him this week. I don't think I have the balls to do it, but it could be something that you think about out there in a degenerate world to do, especially if you're mass multi-entering. If you're doing 150 lineups out there for this tournament, and you can do, and Hideki's going to be 6%, and you could be 3 times, what he's going to be, and only use 20% of your personal ownership. So that would be what, 30 lineups out of 150.
Yeah.
Might be worth it. Hey, it might be worth it there.
I would go with Max Griesemann instead of Hideki as a pivot, because Hideki is the worst on easy courses out of everyone $9,000 and above. Like, you want Hideki, Kenny, on courses where he's chipping, because he's lethal with the wedge around the greens. You're going to be hitting fairways and greens, yeah. Like, you're not going to be scrambling your face off. You're going to have to make birdies. He's just not that kind of guy right now, and he will very much be the lowest owned option. Maybe Siwoo with some injury concerns, who knows? But Hideki and Siwoo, the Asian persuasions there with some serious injury bugaboos, and I think Siwoo would be very interesting too, because he's going to be low owned. I think after WD, people are going to be scared. But Max Griesemann, easy courses, love what he can do, great putter, and he's cheaper than Hideki by $500. I'm in on him. Harry Hall, like you mentioned, Kenny, an easy scoring beast. But again, Harry Hall has not had a top 5 finish in the last 12 months. Does not finish inside the top 5. Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to play either Hideki or I'm going to play Morikawa. I'm going to play one of those two.
Colin,
for the leverage. I'm not sure because Hideki's been on my mind this week, and I think just doing so many shows with Tambo, he's so right so often. Nobody's going to be on him. I think this might be the week. We'll see. Because the thing is, if there is 30-mile-per-hour wind and the winning score is -18, I think he's more in it than it would be if the winning score is -26, right? If we're seeing these 30-mile-per-hour gusts and the winning score is going to be -18, which you saw Cam Davis win both of his events, which were windswept at -18, I think that puts him more into the conversation. So I would check the weather. We'll see how it goes for that. But my favorite play in the 9K range, non-cash, is going to be Luke Clinton. Talked about Luke. I think he's going to be a stud. So I'm definitely going to play Luke Clinton. Anybody else in the 9K range pique your interest?
I love Luke Clinton. Obviously, easy scoring. Like you saw when the conditions were easier at the Travelers, he balled out. When it was a bit more tricky, he kind of got stuck. So around this golf course he's a perfect fit, man. He's perfect for this venue. I think he's going to be popular at $9,000 though, because
I think so too.
But again, you know how to weasel your way around ownership, people. You're not just jamming everyone that's high owned into the same lineup. It's not, to quote Tambo, it's not who you play, it's how you play them. So make sure that you are providing yourself with a couple low ownership guys in the same lineups as a Luke Clanton, Patrick Cantley, Ben Griffin type start. I think that's going to be quite a popular start potentially, and you're going to have to figure out your other 3 guys in a big way under there. In the 8s, Kenny,
if you do a Morikawa, if you do a Morikawa, Decky, Clanton start, right?
Oh,
yeah. You still got $6,900 per golfer, which is not horrible. There's some plays down there in the 6K range. I think it's doable. That could be a differential type start, but you can also go in the 8K range. My original hustler play of the week was going to be Wyndham Clark. It looks like he's picking up steam. I know Baroff, another member of the Fantasy Golf Degenerates. We haven't had him on in a little bit. We haven't taken weeks off in a while. So we haven't had. Yeah, we have been grinding. Yeah, I hit him up recently, and he said anytime we want him on the show, he'll be on. But he's been sort of hot this season too, so maybe we should have him. Maybe I should take a week off so we can get actual.
I'll take the week off.
Get an actual
just
winner.
Just going to be a Ryan show.
Just Baroff do it solo.
because Baroff has been fucking crushing it here recently. So kudos to him. But he has Wyndham on his card. Ron Klaus, PGA Splits 101, talked about Wyndham and how he likes him this week. Wyndham was originally going to be my hustler player of the week, but after seeing those, I'm thinking he might be double-digit owned. I thought maybe 5-6%. Because the thing about Wyndham, he's sort of getting into the Patrick Reed territory. People hate him right now. Like, absolutely despise. I mean, for good reason. He's been a fucking douchebag out there on the course. But that doesn't mean, you don't play him in DFS, right? You sort of gotta take your biases and put them aside. Like, I played Rory last week, and all the shit I fucking talked about Rory in that very same podcast, I still played him. You can't let those biases get inside your head, right? But because he is a fucking douchebag, he's a fucking loser. But you know what I'm saying? I don't care. I will play him. Solid showing last week at the Travelers. Got out, of the approach shot funk game, 1.4 strokes, with his approaches. I thought he would be 6 to 8% owned this week, but I think it's going to be a little bit higher now. But I think he could still be a nice little play. And now here's the weird thing. He seems to do like a lot of heavy lifting during the summer months. He's at 30 top 20s since the beginning of 2021. 44% have come in June, July, or August. Right? And he's not like these other guys, top tier guys who never play the fall events. He plays the fall events too. He plays a year-round schedule for the most part, except last season when he, became, big time, right? He won the US Open, all that shit. But so he's getting 44% of his top 20s in June, July, and August. It's a narrative. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's something that you can
put an angle though.
Yeah, think about, but it's just something that I've seen and I've noticed that, like, in the summertime, once June hits, the guy starts playing better golf. We've seen it now. He played pretty well last week with a 17th place finish. So I do like Wyndham Clark. I will be playing him this week in the 8K range. I like Bhatia. I already talked about him in the betting segment. Who do you like?
I don't mind Wyndham. Again, I like he's got the second best upside in the 8K range. So
yeah, I mean,
his
Ron was
safety
talking
is
about,
not there anymore.
No, his safety's there. He makes every cut. He doesn't miss cuts. He sucks. He finishes 50th, 60th.
Right.
And a lot of that could be because of Siggy Nets too. So I could be wrong about this. Maybe I'm looking at his finishes and not thinking about signature events. So that could be an error on my part. But he's made like all but one cut this season.
Yeah, you mentioned 44% of his top 20s have come in the summer. 43% of his starts have been out top 40. 57% have been outside the top 40. So not ideal, but again, he's got.
That's why I thought he would be super low owned.
He might still be. I
don't think so. I think it's going to be at least 10%.
Minwoo, people will play Minwoo and Ricky. They both almost won this tournament. Minwoo, we'll see. But I'm also very much in on Keith Mitchell. Great course fit for this kind of a venue.
It's weird
got
that he's
bad
never
course
made a
history.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
But I think it's perfect. I'm down to take a guy that's actually a good course fit with bad course history, because it should, like Lucas Glover last week. He's never played great around TPC River Highlands, and he should, because of how his game fits that course, and he finally showed up. So,
here's the thing. This course is the 12th least stickiest course when it comes to course history. So, like, out of 44 courses, it's like 32nd in how much course history plays a part. So, we've seen people, because of how easy the course is, basically.
30s. Yeah, it's just, you got to go nuts. But there are some people that have very sticky course history at some venues. Just because the course history isn't sticky doesn't mean like a Cameron Davis doesn't show up and continue to play well. That there's micro course histories involved with each golfer too. You got to figure out how sticky their own course history is typically.
One thing I forgot to mention, Bhatia is my third cash game cornerstone.
Let's go. All right. Davis Thompson on the way out here at $8,100 and Chris Goddard up at 8,000 flat are two options that I'm also in the mood for. I'm out on a Bhatia this week. I was in on him when he should have won here last year and did not. So 3-putting that final green was tragic. Ryan Gerard at $7,900, Alex Noren at $7,800. Two options that I'm really in the mood for. Kurt Kitayama is a potential option at $7,500. I'm in on Benny On as well. Like you mentioned, Benny On, isn't he? He's on your outright card, Kenny. Perfect course fit for this venue. Just got so much nukes off the tee. Jacob Bridgman, Lee Hodges, Nico Echeverria, and some Ricky Castillo showing up here, popping pretty hard, checking 4 of 6 boxes for me in a big way there. And then I'll round out with Matt McCarty and Antoine Rosner as lots of 7K options, so you can go real nice and balanced if you start south of the 10K range, with Ben Griffin there. You can just load up on some lower 7K guys and have a really balanced team. So what are you getting up to in the sevens, Kenny? Lots of names down here.
Bet on and Grillo. Already talked about both of them in the betting segment. I'm in on Grillo. Grillo's actually in my cash lineup right now, but my final cash game cornerstone is Cam Davis. I'm just going course history for him. So my 4 cash game cornerstones for this week are going to be Patrick Cantlay at 10,200, Ben Griffin at 9,800, Bhatia at 8,400, and Cam Davis at 7,400. Grillo's also in that lineup, and Mike cue the music. My hustler play of the week for this week is going to be Max McGreevy. I talked about, I bet him 110-1 with 8 places. I do like McGreevy a lot this week. And let me go ahead and talk about him a little bit. He jumps from 43rd in my rankings to 9th. When you add the easy scoring filter. Gained with approaches in 8 of his last 10. Gained off the tee in 9 of his last 11. Top 10 in the field from 100 in proximity from 100 to 150 yards the last 24 rounds. Has only gained strokes putting 4 times in his last 10 events, but all 4 have been spike weeks. 2.3 in Canada, 3.3 at CJ Cup, 2.7 at Honda, 6.1 at Mexico. I'm thinking 5% on. I'm thinking 5% on this week for Mr. Max McGreevy, my hustler play of the week. He is actually in my cash lineup as well. So you guys got my cash lineup. Don't have any golfers in the 6K range in cash. Other golfers that I do like, I want to give Steven Yeager a look here this week. Where'd Yeager go? So when it comes to Yeager, his rankings get better on easier courses. He is a proven winner. He's come with the win with this field that we have. I feel like the price tag is pretty damn good. I know he hasn't been the best out there, but I feel like he can pop. I'm not saying use him in cash, but like GPP options, like boom or bust, I think Yeager is a play. I know Lee Hodges is very popular. If he's going to be like super popular at 7,200, that would be a fade for me. If he's going to be the highest owned guy in that 7K range, I'm going to go ahead and avoid that. I'll probably avoid the highest owned guy in this 7K range. It's just a smart thing to do in these non-siggy events. You know what I'm saying? 7K and 6K guys, the highest owned, just drop them. It's a pretty easy thing to do for this. And I think from a game theory perspective, it really helps your chances for GPPs and stuff like that. Who else do I like here? Grillo. Who do you like? So you've gone over a bunch of names. Pot Guider down here at 7,000. I already talked about him during the betting segment. In the 6K range. My first guy is going to be Adam Hadwin. Again, talked about him in the betting segment at $6,800. Adam Schenk at $6,600. Or $6,700 if you follow at the Fantasy Grind. He had a nice little tweet about Adam Schenk. I don't remember it, but it made me click his name. So go follow Jeff Ulrich at the Fantasy Grind. We'll talk about it. It was talking about his recent ball striking at the U.S. Open, how solid it was, stuff like that for Mr. Adam Schenk. At 6,700. So he sold me. Grayson Sigg, one of the better wedge players in this field, probably top 3 from 100 to 150 in the last 24 rounds. So Grayson Sigg at 6,300, and then John Pock at Grayson Sigg at 6,600. John Pock at 6,300. Spoke about him during the betting set.
Yeah, I love Park. 2 Park, 3 Park, whatever you want to go with there. I think you cannot have too much of John Park. Stephen Fisk at $6,900 checks 3 of my 6 boxes, ranks 41st in my safety model. He is the 70th ranked golfer in DK, so like a 20-spot jump in my ranking difference there. So love what he can do for us at $6,900. Quade Cummings, I believe, did he just win on the Corn Ferry Tour? Either way, I heard his name.
I think he runner up. I think he finished
That's
second
even better. I'm cool with the second place finish too. He's checking a lot of boxes for me as well. Ranks 36th in my safety rankings there for it, which I'm down for safety rankings when it comes to 6K guys, maybe some 7Ks. In the 8s and 9s and 10s, I want upside because I need you finishing at the top of the leaderboard. I'm in on Adam Hadwin, like you mentioned. Carl Phillips, I'm down on him. Alejandro Tosti, mentioned him as well. We'll be betting him at 170 to 1. Sammy Valimaki at $6,700. If you think about a Vedanta Villarta type comp course situation where you just nuke the driver, he is out there. Nick Hardy, $6,600. He's got tons and tons of juice. Kenny, what do you think about Nate Lashley at $6,500? Winner of the tournament
champion. Former champion. He actually, I think this is the one where he won as a Monday qualifier, or he was a last minute ad from somebody who withdrew and he wasn't even available on DraftKings.
Yeah,
when
that's the best
won this event. He was not available. I'd have to look a little bit deeper. I didn't really delve too deep into Lashley.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like a course history type guy is also $6,500. By the way, Cristobal Del Solar, play him in round 1 showdown. He's going to be a great option. I'll be finding his first round leader market as well. My boy, CDS, doing his thing. Paul Waring at $6,200, also sneaky option. Won't be owned at all at $6,200. I think you can do worse with him. But again, bottom of the 6K barrel at the Rocket Mortgage is, could pour down a shot glass. That's the Rocket fuel. So I'm down on Stephen Fisk a lot. I think he's going to be my favorite player in this range. So we'll see what happens over there.
Why?
I'm essentially, what's up?
Why do you like Fisk so much? If he's your favorite player, I need an explanation on that.
Okay. He's 21st in scoring on easy courses, like strokes gained on easy courses, 21st in the field. He's 13th off the tee on courses longer than 7,200 yards. When it comes to weighted approach play for the Detroit course itself, 16th in the field in strokes gained, given these proximities. So he's doing a lot of work there. If you take a look at, what he gets up out of the rough, he's very good out of the rough. You're going to be in the rough a lot here as well. 17th in the field in par 5 scoring averages. What's he done recently? Got a 43rd at the RBC Canadian and a 66th at the Charles Schwab. So 2 made cuts in the last 2 starts for him. Hasn't played much since the Masters. So is that good enough there, Kenny?
You sold me. I clicked this button. You sold me.
Clicking
if you're going to say he's your favorite play, if you say he's going to be your favorite play in the 6K range, you got to give me like an explanation. All right.
There we go.
Like, he's my favorite play, and this ended that way. I'm like, I need to know why. That's all.
There we go. I'm glad you asked. It checks a lot of boxes, So you get those kind of explanations from me on my show when I'm kind of breaking down each person a lot more. Kind of just do the rapid fire type stuff here for the blood, sweat, and DFTs. So can you ask the question? Then I'll give you all the fucking information you need. So one and done, Kenny. You're the one and done guy. I'm
in 112.
I went with Sep last week. Jesus.
Jesus.
What the hell was that?
I have no idea. I am 112th right now. I think maybe Wyndham Clark. I don't know if I'll ever use him
aggressive.
Again. So I'm thinking I might use him because, again, this is not a big money event. You know what I'm saying? I think Wyndham's going to make the cut and give me some change. I did move into second in the Slider Cup. So that one I'm going to have to think a little bit harder. Because I already have the guys I'm going to play in the FedEx Cup playoffs, already positioned. So I can't play those guys. So I gotta think. I gotta figure that out. So I'm not 100% sure about the Slider, but I think the Wyndham might end up being on both. We'll see.
I'm gonna go with Ben Griffin. I think he's just.
I have him open too in the Mayo. I'm just thinking. I think he's going to be the most owned, and maybe he'll fuck up.
I'm doing this for you, Kenny, because Sep was a perfect course fit for the Travelers and was like 7 over par through the first 2 rounds. Like, how? I just seem to like step on landmines every time I click their fucking name for one and done. So I'll take Ben Griffin to try and get you some leverage on the rest of the field there. Since I'm taking one for the team, yeah. You know, I'm your goon, so I've got you covered. Don't say I don't love you. That's it for the show. Shout out to Play ProphetX. Use code FG Degenerates over there to get 1.5% back on your first 30 days of plays. Shout out to Kickback Golf. Use code FGD15 to get yourself 15% off those purchases over there. Use code FGD50 to get yourself 50% off the Model Maniac Patreon, which is in the link in the description as well. All the stuff you've seen on your screen. And catch me tomorrow on Back 9 Bet, 7 Eastern here on Mayo Media. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, people. Let us know what show you're in the mood for like a live show. You know, if there's a specific kind of tournament that you want to have us on doing this live, you can ask us a couple questions, or you can interact with you. Kenny can like pop off on a couple bad comments. We'll see how it all goes. That'll be a fun time. And then don't forget to see me at the John Deere Classic next week. Make your plans to come out there and visit me. Beers on me when I do see you there. Lots of public service announcements at the end there, but Kenny, get us the hell out of here.
If Byron buys you a beer, something's wrong. You need to buy Byron a beer when you get there for him doing this show and doing the show on Tuesdays. I'm sure he's won you guys some money. So Byron should not be buying anybody beers. Everybody should be buying him beers at the John Deere Classic. As for me, you can find me at KendoVT on X. Any updates, I'll have my live card out there with any updates, any ProphetX plays, stuff like that, any live ads as the week goes on. It's just through X. That's all I'm doing. Should be a fun week. Should be hot. Should be steamy. Let's win some motherfucking money. Degen Nation.